All right, all right, all right, all right. We are on the live now, and we are ready to roll. We got a very tough, discussion to do, and very important, I should say. And it's going to be something that is fun because it's a news breaking, and we want to use that as a segue into some of the things that we usually teach or learn on this show. So, if you are joining us, we thank you first for coming over. And we hope that we're going to have a wonderful time together. And so today it's a live show. As you can tell, we have life and health show. And every other week we do a live show or social economic show. And the other week we do a completely health show. So today is a live show, and it's appropriate to talk about some breaking news on the life everywhere. And so we're going to enjoy this time together. Hopefully you will also stick with us. And so as we begin, let me tell you that, are you really ready to dive into the unexpected decision of President Biden, the United States president, quitting his re-election bid? Are you? Well, I am. But more importantly, can quitting ever align with health? I'm not sure if you ever associated quitting with health or with wealth or with anything good, but that's what we're going to be looking at. Can we align quitting with wealth or a wealth mindset? Join us now as we unravel the thought-provoking topic, exploring some of the things that we can basically get from what has come out in the news today. President Biden quitting his re-election campaign or goal. We're going to explore the fine line between strategic planning or strategic withdrawal and also giving up. Quitting is basically giving up. So did Biden strategically withdraw, or did he just give up? And that's what we're going to discuss right now. It is a tough one. It is a tough one. But if you are joining, we want you to be active on the live. Just show us what you also think, and we are going to basically enjoy ourselves together. So that is what we are going to be doing. And if you are also coming on the live for the first time, welcome to episode 7 of the live show. And my name is Dr. Oteng, and my beautiful wife alongside me here is
Dr. Gifty Oteng.
Oh, come on, man. That's Dr. Gifty Oteng for you. And we are here to bring you another insightful episode. Trust me, it's going to be fun. Today, we are tackling this fascinating and timely topic of President Biden's quit, and it's basically a question that we are going to be discussing. Is quitting a wealth mindset? Is this something that people who want to do well should do? Should Biden should he even quit at all? Together, we will delve into the implications of President Biden's decision, and discuss whether quitting can sometimes be a smart or strategic move rather than a sign of failure. Definitely. And we will also explore how biblical wisdom and practical financial principles can guide us in making resilient, informed decisions. So definitely stay with us and for an eye-opening discussion that might actually just change the way you look and think about success, perseverance, wealth, and the like. So if you are joining us again, welcome to the live show. So the first thing we're going to be talking about, I know my co-host is tired. She just came home, but it's an important topic, so I wouldn't let myself do this show alone. So I'm going to do a lot of the talking, but she's going to chime in here and there. So the question now, what we're going to start off is, we're going to analyze Biden's decision of giving up, or as it were, strategically withdrawing, or if you may, quitting, whichever one it is you want to call. We'll find out at the end of the show, but we're going to analyze that. And I think it's something that we can both agree on. If you want to bring the first point. We want me to go.
Okay, so is Biden quitting a strategic decision? Is it a wise decision or a strategic decision? So examine how Biden's decision reflects a strategic withdrawal rather than a failure, showcasing the importance of knowing when to pivot in leadership and life.
So that's what we're going to be talking about. It's something that he has done. He has just made up his mind. But it may be a strategic decision, basically, that's what she's trying to say here. And it may be a point of pivot. So you may say quit, but he may have done this as a way of pivoting and showing, strategy. If you may, strategy in what sense? I can say that, well, he may have been reading the news or probably been told that he's on a downward spiral in terms of the polls. He probably is going to lose. And so that may have affected the reason for making, or that may have influenced his decision to basically bow out of the race. So that is a strategy that may have led to this decision. So he may not have just given up for giving up's sake, but there is probably a strategic decision because, go ahead.
Yeah, so do you also think that maybe he was pressured to make that decision? You were saying that maybe he's been listening to the news, the polls are not in his favor. So he's being pressured by the leaders of the party to withdraw. Can that be the case too?
That could be the case also. Definitely, that could be the reason. So it's a strategic decision, probably resulting from multiple things. First, thinking that maybe he's going to lose. And if you can, see definitely that you're going to have a landslide lose, then of course it's a better thing to strategically take off or bow out of the race rather than to stay there. Or, like Gifty is also bringing up, it may be a strategic decision because his party leaders may be potentially forcing or pressuring him to bow out. And that's probably what has led to his decision now. But definitely, that is one thing that I think we can say as part of the analysis that led into his decision. Now, the next point that we're going to be talking about is potentially his health, which is the elephant in the room. I don't know if you agree. It's the elephant in the room. Everybody knows that he may not be feeling the best because of his age. 81 years, I think he is right now. By the time he is done, he will be about 83. I could be wrong with the numbers.
85. Oh, 83.
Yeah. And if that is the case, he may have looked into the future and seen that health-wise, he may be spending too much time on himself rather than doing what it takes to be the president. And so getting out of the race may be something that is a better option. And so I would think that health and age factors may have contributed, which is potentially an obvious thing. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too, because I think recently he got COVID,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so that can definitely inhibit your interaction with people. Going out there, you don't want to spread it because you have to stay home, keep to yourself. So with all these health conditions, I think it's better for him to really reconsider.
Right. And he's frail. I mean, for his age, 80 years, anybody even after 70, or some people even after 60 cannot do much. And so he is potentially not with all that it takes in terms of strength. And so age factors and health factors may have contributed. I mean, we are both in healthcare and we know patients, people even people in the 60s. So he's actually done good for his age. And so this decision may have come about as a result of considering age and health factors that are going on in his life. So considering Biden's age and health, which may influence his decision to prioritize personal well-being over the demands of, of a vigorous job of campaign first, and then even the presidency if he wins. So that is one thing. Now let's move on to another potential reason why he may have come out. And you want to start?
Yeah, and I think maybe the likely reason may be his legacy. he wants to preserve all that he has achieved from being president, one-time president, right? So analyzing how stepping down might help preserve his legacy, allowing him to focus on impactful initiatives without the pressure of re-election.
Definitely. If you have done something, it is better to, to keep it that way than to, go out there and lose, and then, or potentially even win and not be able to do much, and then it tarnishes all that you have done. So maybe legacy planning or, legacy preservation, as you said, is something that has come into play in making this decision, because, I don't know what side of the aisle you belong to, whether you are a Republican or a Democrat. Every president feels, at least, that they have done something when they come. And so it is better off to get out of the game when you are still healthy. Big sports, men sometimes have to leave, even though they are good. But when age catches to them, they leave. I never thought Michael Jordan was going to quit basketball. But at some point, you have to go, especially when you are in your prime, rather than to continue to play and play and play and eventually become, ineffective, right? And everybody begins to tell you that you're not playing
good anymore.
And they will forget about all the good things that you did in the past. So legacy preservation, maybe he's trying to protect his legacy, and which makes sense. So yeah.
And with this past almost 4 years, we can see that he has achieved a lot. All the good things that he has done for the middle class and students, for students, forgiveness, loan
forgiveness, and stuff like that,
and all that. So he has done a lot that we want to preserve that legacy that he's created, than to come or to lose in a way that would be something that people remember him of. So it's good that you preserve all your achievements in a way that is highly respected. Then people will really gear into your vision and buy into your dreams later in life. Yeah.
Definitely. And I don't know. You sound like you agree with people who like him. Anyway.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
You like him? Anyway, well, that's good. Now, whether you like him or not, like I said earlier, if you feel like you have achieved something, it is better to leave the game when you are at a point where you could be remembered for something good, rather than to play and potentially get injured and not be able to play anymore, or become not as good, and then people begin to pressure you. So I think all that must have come to play to protect his legacy. That may be one of the reasons. Now the other reason that may have come to play for his decision today is the political landscape. Understanding the current political climate, and how Biden's decision might be influenced by, party dynamics, public opinion, and everybody is saying that, hey, we need a stronger candidate. We need somebody who can, lead the party. We need everybody, people are saying that both candidates are not even good. We need somebody else. And I've heard this over and over and over. No matter where in the political aisle you belong to in the U.S., most people, I should say, that there should be two new candidates. And so the political dynamics may have played a role. You may have been hearing people all these years, and especially within the last few weeks, enormous pressure. And the polls. Last time I was watching some potential polls, and they predicted landslide victory for the other candidate. And if that's the case, and you are somebody who is doomed to lose, that political climate can dictate to you and potentially influence your decision to either stay or bow out. And so I think that may have also come to me. Do you agree?
Yes. So and also by withdrawing, you make room for other candidates to emerge, like stronger candidates, so that maybe they will carry on your legacy of your. So it will look good overall. So, but if you still stay in, the other person who may be stronger may not have the opportunity to join the race.
Okay, so that is also potential reason why he's so that also goes back to preserving his legacy. If you get somebody and I'm hearing news of him throwing his weight around his vice president. So if that's the case, then doing that may potentially continue what he intended to do in the next 4 years. So it's also a preservation
Right.
of his legacy. So whether or not you agree with him on this decision, these simple analysis, we did 4 analysis of his decision, make it clear that he's up to his own decision. We can't judge him as much whether you like for him to keep on or not. You can only think and imagine what is going on in his life. We just did 4 points here, but at the end of the show, we are going to find out whether he actually quit. Because we're going to define the difference between quitting and strategic withdrawal. And in reference to our life as people, we're going to touch on a few things like marriage, your finances, your career and stuff, using this particular reason of Biden leaving. So at the end of the show, we're going to ask you, and you're going to make the decision. Did he quit or did he strategically withdraw? And that is an answer that we want you to come up with after we have gone through everything. So that is the next thing that we are going to be talking about. So with that being said, we can zoom straight to that. Yeah. So let's talk about the difference between quitting and strategic withdrawal then. What is the difference between quitting and strategic withdrawal? You want to start off?
Yes, so quitting often involves giving up without a clear plan or purpose, whereas strategic withdrawal is calculated decision made with a specific goal or benefit in mind. So that's the difference.
That's the difference. So quitting is often involves without a clear plan. So you just boom, you disappear. I'm not doing it anymore.
No purpose, right? Nothing.
No purpose, no clear goal. You just get out, But anyway, like I'm saying, you can judge whether Biden, had a purpose or intent, or he just did this because a few days ago, a few weeks, not even weeks, he had campaigned saying that he's not going anywhere. He's staying in the race, and his crowds were cheering and all that. So did he just make the decision to leave? That would be quitting. Or did he actually put in some thought and purpose into this, which will become a strategic withdrawal? So I think that is a very good point. So that is the first difference. Is quitting is no plan, no clear plan. You just leave whenever you want. But if it's a strategic withdrawal, then you plan, you have a goal ahead, and then slowly you make your plan come into effect because you have a benefit in mind for doing that. Does Biden have a benefit in mind, or is he just leaving because he's being pressured? Is he just quitting, or did he strategically withdraw? All right, so the next difference between quitting and strategic withdrawal.
Yes, so it's the mindset.
Mindset.
So quitting is typically associated with a defeated attitude, while strategic withdrawal reflects a proactive mindset focused on optimizing future opportunities.
My goodness. That is huge. So quitting is defeated attitude. If you're quitting, it means that you have lost.
Defeated.
Like you lost the game and you just bowed out. But a strategic withdrawal, it's a proactive mindset focused on optimizing future opportunities. This is close to the first decision that the first difference that we talked about, intent and purpose. But mindset becomes an active thing that you do if you are not quitting. But for a quitter, the defeated attitude, the fact that they feel like they have lost, there's nothing good in there for them, then they just get out. That is a quitter. But if you reflect and proactively you make the conscious decision to leave, having a future benefit in mind, knowing that there's something out there better for you, then you are not a quitter. You are a strategic withdrawal person. My goodness.
So if we just start thinking about Biden being a strategic withdrawal, right? What are the opportunities for him for coming out of the race. You can think of him having time for himself, so that weight of the whole country on your shoulder, waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning to make decision is all taken off your shoulder. And you have your grandkids and you have your wife, you have a whole family to spend time with. So that can be something that will benefit him in the future. And at the same time, throwing his weight on the one that will carry his legacy along, or whatever he want to accomplish in the future along. So that you can see that it's a win-win situation for him.
A win-win situation. I like that. A win-win situation. He's going to get more time for himself. He's going to chill out with family. He's not going to carry the weight of the U.S. on him as an over 80-year-old man. So if you think about it that way, then definitely he is not quitting, but he's strategically withdrawing. But I know there are people who are going to watch and who think otherwise. They'll be like, well, he quit because he thought he was going to lose. That's why he quit. And people are also going to say that, hey, he was forced out. He didn't really strategically withdraw. But as I'm saying, you watch and bring your point as we go forward. Let us know what you think. Did he have the mindset and plan this out because of the opportunities that he thinks he can get, or he just quit, because of pressure and
feeling
defeated, or all those other things? So I think we can go to the next difference between a quitter and a strategic withdrawal. And I'll start that one. Says that timing. If you see somebody who is a quitter leaves places impulsively. He just boom, he's out. I don't know, but I have worked with people who will come to work, no plan in mind to leave, but something happens at the job place or a place of work, and they walk out. I'm not coming anymore. That's a quitter, right?
Yep. That actually happened yesterday at my work.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
That's a quitter right there. No plan. This person did not plan.
Yeah, somebody stopped by and was like saying things to him that he didn't like. And that's a front store. And he was so upset to the point that he just took his jacket and walked out. He's like, I can't do this anymore. He just walked out. That's a quitter
That's a quitter. Why? Because it's impulsive, under pressure. While a strategic withdrawal is usually executed at a deliberate time, to maximize positive outcomes. So if that person was a strategic withdrawal, after dealing with that pressure, they could have gone home and planned their next move.
Right.
Such as starting to look for another job, or even look for a different place in the same company where he wouldn't have to deal with such things, or plan out another career move and slowly move out. But just right there and then, this person impulsively just leaves. That's a quitter. That if you are watching and you're doing that, come on, man. You are a quitter. And we use this Biden's news to educate all ourselves, and we all learning here. So if you're making decisions impulsively, especially at leaving because of challenges, because of issues you have faced, whether it's by pressure from people, whether it's customer service work, whether it's bills you cannot pay, or we're gonna see more practical examples as we go forward. But suffice to say that one of the main differences between a quitter or somebody who is quitting and somebody who strategically withdraws is based on timing, whether they are impulsive or they just do things planned. That is what will tell you whether that person is a quitter. And as we go forward, if you have been a quitter, I hope that by the end of the show you will All right, so I think we can go to the next point.
Yeah, and we can also say that quitting often lacks a structured plan for what comes next. I think we touched base on that one, right? You don't have a plan. You lack that plan because it was just sudden. It was impulsive, and you just executed it. So you don't have any structured plan. Whereas strategic withdrawal includes a well thought out plan for the next step and future actions.
So the first one, though is similar, was timing. It's
time.
impossible. Boom, they do it. But this one that she's saying is planning. So you may live. I mean, if somebody planned so well and had everything lined up for them, they could quit, impulsively, but they have already made plans for the next move. And so even though it may seem like a quitter, they may have already thought about this and planned their next move all already.
Right.
So we don't know what President Biden has done, whether he has planned already what his life after this 4 years is going to be, or he did not think about stopping at all, and all of a sudden he had to quit because of pressure. Now, in your life, same thing happens. If you leave or change course without plan, you potentially are quitting, especially if you are following through something and you just leave without planning, then you are a quitter. But somebody who leaves a career, a place of work, a political appointment, or whatever, after a thoughtful plan, as she said, has strategically moved because they had a well thought out plan, and their next moves are all lined up. All they are moving is from one place to the other. It's not like they're going to spend time home, now beginning to look for a new job and dread when their savings are going to run out because they did not plan. That person would be a quitter. But a strategic withdrawal person or somebody who leaves a place strategically would have taken care of all that. So I think that's a very good.
Yeah. So we can also say that somebody who has a plan B,
Plan B.
Plan B.
Come on, man.
You have a plan B. So you have something going on, you're doing something, but at the back of your mind, you have an alternative. So in your mind, you know that if this one does not lead, maybe you give yourself 3 months. If I'm not able to achieve this at this point, then I'll go to my plan B. That's really having a structure in your decision.
Definitely. That's very, very important. Now, I always tell people, because we are in healthcare, I'll bring it back in here. Because we have a life and health show. This is a live show. We have a health show next week too. And people who come for Plan Bs, Plan B is a medication over the counter in the US. Those of you in the United States. When people come for Plan B, I always wonder why they didn't use Plan A. Come on. Because Plan A would have prevented them from even spending that money, because Plan A involves what? Planning. If you plan, you potentially may not need even Plan B. But if somebody leaves a place, they may have potentially planned. And if they did, like she said, she already has a Plan B and she's moving on from A to B. So that person is not a quitter. And put it in the chat if you are watching. Do you think President Biden has a Plan B lined out, or he was just forced out? We want to hear what you think. And also, as you do that, as you judge him, let's
judge
yourself too. The next move that you made, the move that you're about to make, do you have a Plan B or a Plan A? All right. So with that, let's move on to the next difference between quitting and strategic withdrawal.
Yes, so quitting can be perceived negatively as a sign of failure or lack of perseverance, while strategic withdrawal is often viewed positively as a wise and thoughtful decision, as in the text mode.
Yeah. So basically, like she said, if you are quitting, you have completely lacked perseverance. You lack perseverance, definitely. There's nothing in there that shows that you basically are made for whatever it is you were trying to do in the first place. That's why you quit. And you say that, quitters don't succeed because you don't have the innate strength to beat at whatever odds you are facing to achieve your goals. And so you are lacking perseverance. And that is important to bring to mind, that quitters lack perseverance, but people with strategic withdrawal, people who plan their lives out, may not necessarily have that. All right, so that is that one. And then now we are going to ask how a wealth mindset incorporates resilience and smart decision making. So we're going to be right back. When we come back, we are going to apply this to what it is that we can use to incorporate wealth mindset, how to make money, how to make life, how to make health, how to make marriage. Everything works. Are you going to act like a quitter, or are you going to be a person who plans and who follows through with what they do? So without wasting much time, we'll be right back. Stay put, hit the like button, and share, and we are going to be right back. All right. We are back right now. All right, we got some comment here from Brother Jerry. Let me put it up. And he is saying that strategic withdrawal. Come on, man. I think that's what you're thinking Biden did, or I'm hoping that's what you are saying Biden did, right? Strategic withdrawal. Unless you are saying that for, all intents and purposes. But I think you mean you are answering what Biden did, strategic withdrawal. Strategic withdrawal. Let me put this back down here. All right. That's fine. Oh, my goodness. All right, so we are going to move forward. And as we said, we're going to bring this to, we're going to potentially tell a story, summarize story about what it is, how we can glean some of these things from, biblical principles and potentially apply to our lives. And so that's what we are going to do. And again, if you have your own comment, I ask that you put it on so that we can basically do this together. And with that being said, let's consider a couple of stories, from the biblical perspective. And that way we can basically understand what it is that we are talking about. So Joseph journey. We all know about the story of Joseph in Genesis chapter 37 up to 50, right? Joseph, for a wealth mindset, Joseph had resilience. So he didn't quit. And the reason is that Joseph faced numerous hardships, including being even sold into slavery. I mean, if you guys remember the story, it is kind of difficult to sometimes comprehend that a young man, among his brothers, would be sold even into slavery by his own brothers, and then falsely accused by Potiphar's wife, and then imprisoned upon that. Then, despite these setbacks, he remained resilient. This guy didn't give up in his trust for God's plan for his life. He didn't quit, basically, I should say. Because we got a lot of people who quit. People who quit on God, I should say. Believers who say that this ain't not working. This God thing, this church thing doesn't work. Give me. Yeah, people do that. I have remained young lady for all these years. No man is coming. My biological clock is ticking, and you keep saying that I should continue to wait. This church thing don't work. I quit. I'm just going to screw myself around and get a baby before my clock is down. It is life. It is happening. But as we see in this story about Joseph, he did not quit. He remained resilient. And don't tell me that he didn't suffer. He suffered to be in jail for no apparent reason, to be sold, as a matter of fact, into slavery for no apparent reason, to be put in jail, to be accused falsely of rape or attempted rape when you had not even tried it, And this man still stayed put on course for the things that he wanted to do. And so that is the story of resilience. And I'm going to let Gifty also talk about smart decision making on the part of Joseph. What do you think?
Yeah, before that, we can also see that Joseph was a dreamer, right?
Mm-hmm.
He dreamt and he was going through all these things that were happening to him, but he trusted in God's plan.
Mm-hmm.
So God had a plan for him. He trusted in it. So trust will make you resilient because the one who called you is faithful and you trust him. And because of that, you are going to stay in the situation and you will not be a quitter.
You will not be a quitter.
So I think the next one would be Joseph's ability to interpret dreams and his wise management during the years of plenty and famine in Egypt demonstrates his strategic thinking and leadership.
Oh, come on, man. Demonstrate his strategic thinking and leadership. I wonder if Biden was operating on this Joseph premise of smart decision making, where he is also demonstrating strategic. I don't know, but we'll find out. You be the judge at the end of the show. Yeah, keep going if you want.
Yeah, so his perseverance led to his rise to power and the eventual reconciliation with his family.
Oh, come on, man. That is good. That is good. His perseverance. So the key is right there. His perseverance. Him not quitting. Him not quitting. That's the key there. Him not quitting is what led to what he actually had. He not quitting. And so I don't know about you, but if you do not quit, you are potentially going to be able to do all the good stuff that you have to do. So that is one thing. He not quitting. All right. And the lesson from Joseph's story that we just mentioned is that it teaches that resilience and smart decision making, even in the face of severe adversity, can lead to great success and fulfillment of God's promises in your life. No matter what you are facing, no matter the purposes you are trying to achieve, if you can stick to being resilient and have smart decision making, you can continue even in the face of severe adversity. It doesn't matter what kind of problem, what kind of lifestyle issues that are bothering you, what kind of enemies you are facing, what kind of challenges you're facing. I'm here to tell you that if you can stick to being resilient and making smart decisions, delving deeper into issues rather than to just walking away easily, then you are going to be able to overcome and achieve all your financial goals, your economic goals, your social goals, your family goals, whatever goals you have set for yourself, your academic goals, everything that it is you are trying to do. But if you don't, then you are in for trouble. I think there's another person that we can also talk about if you want to start that.
Yes, so we have Nehemiah. Nehemiah chapter 1 through 6. So here is Nehemiah rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem. So Nehemiah faced opposition from local leaders and internal challenges among the Israelites while rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem. Despite threats and attempts to discourage him, he persisted.
My goodness, he persisted. Excuse me. Despite all the threats and the attempts to discourage him, if you know the story, he was discouraged over and over. But despite all those threats and attempts to discourage, to frustrate him, to oppose him, all the opposition he faced, he still persisted. That is not a quitter. He is not a quitter. I'm not saying Biden is a quitter. I'm just saying Nehemiah wasn't a quitter. Come on, man.
So you can also see the resiliency in Nehemiah.
Yes.
Just as Joseph.
Just as Joseph. He also had resilience. And so to be able to stand in the face of issues and not quit, you have to have resilience. And the second point we are also saying is you have to have the ability to make smart decisions. And Nehemiah did the same. He demonstrated strategic planning by organizing the work efficiently. That is what happened. He organized the work efficiently. As you can tell, he put, he set up guards to protect the workers, and he was rallying the people to stay focused on their goal. And because of all those smart decision making, sometimes you may need to be tutored. Sometimes you may need, a course. Sometimes you may need to go to school to make, to get the ability to do all those things. But if you do those things, you are able to withstand the situations that potentially make other people quit. You will stand. And so smart decision making is one. We're going to read a lesson about
Yes, so the
what we have.
lesson here is that Nehemiah's story highlights the importance of resilience and strategic action in achieving significant and challenging goals, showing
goodness.
that steadfast commitment and wise leadership can overcome obstacles.
My goodness, steadfast commitment and wise leadership can overcome obstacles. So everybody is a leader in their own right. I mean, in your home, you are a leader. We may be, judging the why or why not, Biden is leaving the race, or why Trump is also looking for the presidency. I know you got the ability to make your own decisions. We are not saying you cannot. You can. But when you do judge these people on their own merit, remember that, as Gifty said, if you point one finger, you got all the rest pointing back at you. In your own little life, in your own small home, in your own family situation, how are you also doing? How is your leadership going over there? Is your leadership something to be talked about? Or is this something that, everybody would look at and also condemn you? We are quick to tell people stuff, but, neglect what is about our own. So I think that it's important that as we consider these leaders, especially the reasons for Biden's leaving, we can also do the same for ourselves. All right, and you want to go forward? Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to apply these lessons: resilience and smart decision making, that are symbols of people who don't quit, to our practical life. So it won't be just, stories you borrow from the scriptures or Biden's story. What about you? So let's start with marriage and divorce. And that is a huge one. I don't know if you I'm pretty sure you do, but how many people cannot stay married even for a year after a grand wedding? The marriage comes apart. And frequently when you go in, somebody has quit. Come on, man. Somebody quit. Sometimes too, they may
Or both of them quit.
Or both of them. Right. Sometimes it may be that they you don't see that there's divorce or anything. They are still living together, but technically they have both quit the marriage. It's just they're just living as roommates, trying to make sure that the kids do well and bills are taken care of. But really, the first thing that got them together, that love, is no longer there. And in order for you to have a better marriage, you have to have the same resilience that we've talked about, the same smart decision making that we talked about, and the same things that we have already mentioned about Joseph, and also about Nehemiah, being diligent to ensure that what you start continues. You don't just give up on the way. I'm not being naive and saying that no, all marriages should continue and no. That's not what I'm saying. But we have far too many people just giving up on the first sign of the problem coming.
And what's the main reason that we come across that they end up divorced? What was the main reason?
It's mostly about money. A lot of them.
The
the legal term.
Yeah.
They call it irreconcilable differences. They have irreconcilable differences. Really? Irreconcilable. All those
so
times
it meaning that they are not compatible.
Yeah.
They can't live under the same roof, or they can't stay married because there are issues that is so hard that they can never come to an agreement. So if you are in a marriage and things are not working well, what do? Do you quit? Because you just drop everything and you just tell yourself, I can't do this anymore.
Oh, but can you strategically withdraw? Can you strategically withdraw too?
It depends.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you can strategically withdraw, because if you are in a case that the other party is about to kill you, or maybe the hate is so deep that you don't think that you can sleep and you wake up the next morning. So in that case, you have to withdraw.
That one you have to
That
quit.
you have to quit.
We don't even need strategic withdrawal. That one you have to quit because your life is
No,
more important.
you should have a plan B when you're quitting too or withdrawing from
No,
the
but
marriage.
especially for people who are abused, physically abused
Yes.
in homes, if your husband is beating you or your wife is beating you, or you don't write them. If you are being abused at home and you have to quit, that one you don't need to strategically withdraw. Well, I don't know, but there's no time to plan because frequently what happens is they kill you.
Yeah.
So that one quit ASAP. Quit whether or not you'll be called a failure. As far as physical abuse and threats are concerned, I don't think there's any time to reason or plan ahead like we have discussed. So that will give it to you. But apart from that, like
so
financial issues,
I think some people will stay in there, and maybe the reason they will stay in there will say that because of the kids, or because they can't be independent, they don't have money, that financially they can't survive on their own. That may be the reasons that they will come up. So they will just want to stay and plan because they don't want to be homeless too. But if the state is such that your life is in danger, then definitely you have to
quit. No, don't
remove
plan.
yourself.
Come on, remove yourself. So I remember that
You have to remove yourself.
Yeah,
Yes.
you have to remove yourself from the situation before he or she removes you. Oh,
Right.
come on, man. Yeah. So that's marriage and divorce.
Right.
But then again, there's too many frequent divorces and too many irreconcilable differences. I wonder if those people even dated first. People date for years and then they marry 2 years. They are like irreconcilable differences we have to separate. Really? All those years you knew each other, or all those months, however long you knew this person, you didn't see that there were differences. And the beauty is that there's going to be differences in every couple because you are coming from your own parents, I'm coming from my own parents. Even siblings have differences. How much more people who are coming from different backgrounds? There's going to always be differences. And I understand that some of the differences you can tolerate, others you cannot. But if it has to do with finances, if it has to do with sex, if it has to do with certain things that are solvable, that are not life-threatening, then you got to stick yourself in there and plan and do something about it. Solve it, strategically manage the situation. Like Nehemiah, if you have to set eyes on the walls, you set eyes on the wall. You don't trust your wife. You don't trust your husband that they may cheat on you. Well, set some eyes on the wall, some boundaries, See a married counselor.
Right.
See a pastor. See a rabbi, whoever it is that you deal with, and seek some help rather than to just bow out because of the first sign of you suspecting. And sometimes it may not even be the truth, So that is where we're saying that quitting and strategic withdrawal may be used, but you got to make sure you are not a quitter because there's too many quitters out there, and that's just about marriage. We're not dealing with marriage. We're just applying Biden's reason to leave as a template to apply to all the other things we face in life. And so if you are in a marriage and you are judging Biden saying that he is a quitter, and you yourself, you have quit in your own marriage, you got to change. Come on.
Yes. And also I think they were talking about him getting together with his family this weekend, and they are going to ask the difficult questions. So they sat down, they analyzed the situation, and that was the conclusion. So if you bring it up to your marriage, so when problems arise, what do you do? We keep saying that communication is a big thing, so why don't you sit down and communicate, pour your heart out, whatever you are not happy with, whatever is not working well, bring it up and let's analyze it. Then find strategic way to overcome that hurdle, that difficulty, so that you move on in your marriage, so that you don't be a quitter. So talk it out, discuss it, find ways and means to, come up with a solution. When it gets to the point that both of you cannot agree, then you can seek for outside help. Then maybe you can get a marriage counselor, a pastor, or somebody that both of you respect, so that you talk it out and bring up the situation, try to understand maybe the reasons why each person do what they do. Maybe you don't understand your partner, stuff like that. So look into it, work it out, and be able to persevere. We talk about resiliency and perseverance so that you can stay in your marriage and enjoy your marriage instead of quitting and getting divorced.
Oh, come on, man. I like that. Instead of quitting, turkey. All right, so the next other life application that we can talk about quitting is keeping a job. Keeping a job. There are some people, and some of whom I have been conversant with in the past, that cannot keep a job. And it's not because they are not bad workers or bad employees, but for some reason they cannot keep a job because they lack the resiliency of sticking their head out for something that is for them, something that is good. Any small opposition, any small challenge is a reason to leave a job. And you are moving from a place of some people are in a small stage like this, and they may have worked almost half of the companies because 1 year they are here, the next year they move. 1 year they are here, the next year they move. Always moving around. It is a sign of a quitter. Yes, come on, man.
Maybe you don't want to be
In the same place for a long time.
Yeah, and people easily get bored. They do one thing for some time and they feel like they are not challenged. There is nothing in there for them, and they will move on.
But we are health and financial services people, and if you bring it down, if you can keep a job, you most likely cannot keep retirement benefits because you move from one job, you lose your 401k, you go to the other job, you lose your retirement. And especially if you don't work in a place long enough, you are most likely not going to even accumulate enough there for retirement purposes. So financially, you are hurting yourself just because you can't tolerate somebody's bad behavior. Somebody is against you and you move. Somebody's against you and you move. Why don't you stay there and do the right thing and let that person leave instead? Rather than you hop from one place to another, losing the potential benefits of retirement and the benefits that come with working in a place for a long time. I'm just mentioning retirement, but there are other benefits that you get when you work in one place for a while. I'm not saying that work in one place for the rest of your life. No. If you have to leave, you have to. But I'm talking about that person that cannot take anybody's bowl, I should say. It's every little thing is annoying them. Every little thing is annoying them. They quit on everything. Everything they are quitting. You can't deal with me in this way. I'm out. And they walk out, not even knowing where their next meal is going to come from. They are just living and living and living. Everywhere they go, they are quitting because they cannot stand other people's behaviors, And the sad thing is, everywhere you go, you're going to meet somebody who doesn't like you.
Or somebody who likes
You meet them. Chances are that one person will like you, but more likely 2 or 3 may not like you. And if people liking you will be the test of you staying at a place, then you are in for a lot of moves because, hear me, you are going to have people that don't like you. So you don't leave a place because people don't like you. As a matter of fact, we've worked in places where people didn't like you, but you stick yourself there, you do what you have to do, what is expected of you to do. And most frequently, those people leave. The people who wanted you to be angry and leave, they leave and you continue because you're doing the right thing. And so a quitter is one that cannot keep a job. I mean, I'm not saying that, the economy was bad, there was downsized, the people let you go. No, that's different. But when you come out of yourself to leave and hop from place to place, losing all the benefits of insurance. Some people got nice jobs with nice insurance benefits, and they left because they did not agree with somebody on the job. Their supervisor was a pain, and so they took off. You don't do that. The financial house is going to be in ruin,
right?
So, and that is what. You don't have anything else to add?
Yeah, and also in case you want to leave, it should be strategically.
Strategic withdrawal.
Right.
You don't quit.
You don't quit because somebody annoyed you. I think we mentioned it earlier because somebody says something you don't like. Because of that, you forget about your bills. But the bills will keep coming.
They will keep coming.
You know, so you have to plan. Okay, so I want to leave this job because maybe if I stay in my stress level is such that my blood pressure is increased, things I can see that I'm not of myself, my mood down. Like you can see that health-wise is affecting you in a bad way. Then you can say that, okay, so I'm giving myself a year. I'm going to leave this job. So what do? You start looking for an alternative. You start looking around and you do your homework very well. For all that you know, you may even get an increased pay instead of staying there. So you have to plan in such a way that it's strategic. It's not because somebody is pressuring you or you don't like the way somebody talk to you or behave. That's why you are quitting. You are quitting. You are leaving the job because you want to. You plan. Then you leave it. You live accordingly, and you have another job waiting for you, so that your income will keep coming in. And you talked about the benefits, the 401k, the retirement
benefits,
plans, and all that.
insurance.
What about the insurance? Vacations
and
so
stuff.
if you stay at one place, we know that you may get up to 4 weeks.
Depending on where you work.
Yeah, depending on where you work, you can get longer time that you can go on vacation with pay. But if you keep hopping from one job to the other, the first year it's likely that you get only 1 week. But if you stay at one place for a long time, you can earn up to 4 weeks that you can use for other things. So there are a lot of benefits if you stay at one place and you can accumulate your time and your wealth at that place.
Oh, come on, man. So you don't leave just because, and the key is just because somebody is against you
Or pressuring
you, or a supervisor or a boss is against you. You adapt and make sure you get the benefits. If there's no benefits and you want to take off, well, there's no benefits. But if there is, don't let that person discourage you and make you a quitter. Because at the end of the day, you are going to be called a quitter. Nobody, even in your family, will know that person. You are the only person that met them. And so you come home and you say that because of my boss, you quit.
I quit.
You quit. And your family is going to be, the ones that are going to suffer, especially if you have children and stuff like that. Well, let's bring the next other practical example. It's retirement and insurance. Some people are also quitting on retirement. Some people work in places and they are like, retirement, they take my paycheck, all this 401k thing, they take my paycheck is not enough, so they quit. They basically don't do it because they're going to lose money. At that point, that is, quitting. But strategic planning, resilience will look in the future and say that, you know what, when I get older, I'm going to need this money. Or even not older, if I keep this retirement, I might be able to retire earlier, retirement benefit. I might be able to retire earlier so that I won't have to work all the way to my 80s or my 70s. And so I'm going to contribute anyway. That is what a resilient person who makes hay when the sun is shining. And we also bring that to the issue of insurance, especially life insurance. Some people also think like, no, I'm going to do what I got to do. And when I'm out of here, I just bounce. I just bounce. I don't need nothing, forgetting that if you do that, you quit on your kids. You quit on your family. You quit on the people that matter to you. And we are talking like a joke. People are living right now with no planning for retirement and no planning for insurance, even health insurance. Some people will not accept the health insurance they get from their jobs because of the little deductions that will come out of their paycheck. And only God knows if you get hit with anything that you need more money because you don't have insurance, you would have quit on yourself long ago. And so a person with resilience, a person with planning, strategic planning, that person will plan all these out and make the best as they go forward. So don't just blame somebody for quitting. You may have quit already on yourself if you do not have insurance, if you do not plan for your retirement, if you do not do your marriage things right, if you do not keep a job. You did quit long time, so don't blame Biden. All right, you want to add anything now?
Let's go.
All right, so the last practical application that we want to touch on is politics. Politics, yeah. And by that, it's important because, that is what Ajol brought us this topic, right? Politics. And especially in developing countries, people in developing countries, they don't strategically leave their politics. They stay there until God knows they die. That's all most people do in the developing countries. If you go to places where, people have become authoritarian rulers and they are always on the job, unlike Biden now, even though he was older before he strategically or abruptly quit the race, some places people don't want to leave. Even elections are banned when they are there, or they change constitutions just to be able to stick to power for all the time. And it happens not just for presidents, but people in your own circles, in your businesses, making arrangements to make sure that they are there. Even in churches, one-man churches, no plan for succession, no plan for other leadership to take control. It's just politics, it's just me. And once you are done, there's nothing to move forward. Like we said in that Biden situation, maybe he was trying to preserve his legacy, but there's no legacy to move forward with because they have completely become absolutely consumed with power. So no strategic withdrawal. As for quitting, forget it. Because
They will stay.
they will stay that one, forget it.
Yeah, because people love power. The abilities that come for being a leader or a president, the things that you can do. You call and somebody respond right away. So letting that go, people struggle with that, because they want to be in charge. They want to remain in that position. And sometimes they will change the constitution, like you're saying, so that they stay on for life. If you do that, you are not helping your country. Because you have to set things in place so that you can move away, like we discussed, so that a new leader will emerge. But if you stay at that spot, for so long, everybody will be like, oh, he want to do it. Let him do it. And sometimes some potentials are being hindered because there is always somebody available to do. But if you give the others people, even sometimes if you're a leader, to be a good leader, you should be able to train people that will become just like you to take
or
over.
even better than you.
Better than you, so that makes you a good leader. You are able to impact or mold or train somebody to take over. So it's very good that you don't quit on your country because you are selfish, because you enjoy power, and because you want to be in charge. When the time comes for you to move aside or cultivate a new
passion.
abilities in other people, just move aside and tap into the younger generation and let them come and take over. And that will move the country forward. That will move your family forward. That will move your work, or your church forward. Than to love the power to the extent that you just want to stay on for life, which is not very helpful.
Power conscious, power drunkenness, especially for African leaders. It's sad. Well, all right. Now, the last practical thing that we want to touch on is your health. Oh, come on, man. The life and health show. This being the life one. Yeah, some people have also quit on their own health. They just give up. No annual physicals. They don't make appointment to see their doctors. And as we always say, they say they don't get sick. So because they are not sick, they are not seeing a doctor. And this lady is over 30 years old. And they have not done breast mammogram. They have not seen their doctor OBGYN for pap smear to be done. They have not had any vaccines for HPV, human papilloma virus, that is leading to a lot of the cervical cancers. They are not doing anything because they feel young and everything is good right now. You have quit on your health. So don't blame Biden. Come on, man. You quit long time ago on your own health. Other people too being overweight. They have become overweight, and all they need to do is to adapt a slight lifestyle change, such as a green diet, as we have mentioned sometimes on our health shows. Maybe all you got to do is to do some slight exercise routine every week.
Yeah, that's too hard, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't take much. Just sacrifice the sugars, that you've been eating. Just sacrifice the starchy foods that you've been eating. Just sacrifice the potatoes, the burgers. Just sacrifice the fries, the sodas, or the minerals, or the beer, so that you are also taking care of yourself. And you don't want to do it. Your doctor keeps telling you you're overweight. Do some, and every year you make a resolution and you don't follow through. You quit on yourself before Biden. Come on, man. You quit. You know. And we are quick to judge people in that regard, but we got to make sure that we are not quitting on ourselves. People are depending on you. You may have children. Even if you don't have children, you have family. You have a wife, you have a husband, you have uncles, you have nieces, and all those people that are looking up to you. And if you are not there, or if you get sick seriously, it's going to hurt them. If you think about it that way, you won't be selfish and say that, as for me, I'll just do what I want, and if I die, I go. Yo, come on, you quit. You quit. And don't blame any quitter because you first quit. And so health is important. And we are, as we say, we have a channel on health. If you can see on the bottom of our screen, you can see it and follow us on health too. Next week, we're coming back to the health show as we do every other week. But definitely, we want to make sure that if you have not made the appointment to check yourself, you are 45, you have not done colonoscopy, you have not done PSA, you have not done breast mammogram, you are in your 30s or 40s, you have not followed through any of the things that your doctor is requesting, you have not done blood sugar check, you don't even know your blood pressure, you don't know your cholesterol level, all you are doing is just eating and going to work. You quit. And I hope that you're going to make those changes because it's important also for you to do that. It's not just the money. It's not just the politics. It's not just the church. It's all about your whole life. That's what this channel is about. Your whole life is important. We want you to live and make the money. We want to live and be healthy. We want you to do all the things that will take you to heaven, but not do one and neglect all the rest. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
So with the health part, what I would like to add is sometimes to some people have been diagnosed with something, right? And like we are talking about quitting, they just decide to live in denial.
They won't do anything about it.
They won't do anything about it. They wouldn't care to follow up what a doctor told them because they don't trust the doctor or the medication. They just took it one time. They don't bother of getting refill. They stop taking it. They stop checking the levels. They stop going to the doctor because they claim that if you don't know, you can enjoy your life better than getting stressed over being haunted by the doctors about your numbers and all that stress. So that is you quitting on yourself.
Or quitting on yourself. You quit before Biden.
Yeah. So if you've been told one time or twice already that your cholesterol level is creeping up, not thinking about it doesn't mean it's gone. Not doing anything about it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It is there. The best thing, you have to be strategic. You have to take interest in your own health. You try, you ask the questions, you see what you can do differently from what you're doing so that things will turn around than to live in denial and say that it's not there because I don't know what is going on in my body.
My goodness, don't live in denial. Living in denial is the first sign of a quitter. The problem is there, but they refuse to acknowledge it, and then eventually it gets to them and they quit. And so don't be a denial and don't live in denial. Now, the last thing is the question we asked. By the foregoing discussion and arguments that we made, question now is, did Biden quit or did he strategically withdraw? And I don't know what time you're going to watch this, but I want you to put it on the chat. Whether you're watching live or watching after the replay, we are going to observe. Do you think Biden quit or he strategically withdrew? Which one is it? And if you choose one, we want you to put your explanation. per the discussions that we've laid down, unless you have something else that is more than what we have said, let us know what you think. Did Biden withdraw strategically, or did he quit and disappoint his people? Because we have already explained that quitting is bad. If you have to leave something, you have to strategically withdraw. But the best is to stick your neck out and continue and persist and persevere.
Right.
That is what we have learned so far on the show. But Biden is out. Did he quit? Did he strategically withdraw? As for persevering, we know is out because he is out of the race. What do you think? And I think that is where we're going to end it.
Right.
And I don't know what Gifty your answer is, and I'm not going to share my answer because I'm not sure. I want to influence you. So you yourself, when you watch, put it on the chat or in the comments. He quit, and this is my reason. Or he strategically withdrew, and these are my points or my reasons, because this is what I see from what you have discussed so far. And if it is not something we talked about, but you have more reasons, put it on the chat. We want to have a healthy conversation on the live. And I think it's a safe place to end, right?
Right.
Right. So now, with that being said, we will say, Beloved, we wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.